Chimaev fight to me, it's massive in two regards. Because it finally feels like Chimaev is knocking on the doorstep of, or standing on the doorstep of a championship opportunity. For a long time, we thought that Khamzat Chimaev would become a guy that would fight for the UFC championship. He just seemed destined for it. Then he beats Kamaru Usman. Granted, Kamaru's up. It's on short notice. It's very competitive. He wasn't as dominant as you thought, but you knew he wouldn't be because Kamaru's that good.
All right, so I'm going to give me a little insight, a little intake. Khamzat is a freaking menace. Like, there's nothing to him to do. Just, you tell him, that guy, I want you to kill him. He's just going to go there and grind that mission out until it gets done. Whitaker, he's got some good defensive leg movement. He's got very good, he's got that blast attack where he can step in and throw 2, 3, 4, plus the kick. Very big. However, everyone keeps talking about Khamzat's gas tank. That thing is, we get it. However, it's the same thing with Dracus du Plessis, who looked like shit. All of his fights gets that surgery, and now he completely looks like a whole different person when he's like out there. I think for sure he's gonna piece up Izzy again, because Izzy is now fighting off of, I have to win. I'm the greatest. Me. And I don't really think that's going to play in his favor. But I definitely believe Khamzat's going to give Robert Whitaker a huge run for his money, and it's going to be a very explosive and exciting fight.
And now we get Robert Whitaker back-to-back. There could be no denying that he should fight for the championship next. But this fight tells me two things. It tells me, one, these two are going to fight in Saudi Arabia to decide who gets the championship opportunity. It tells me, two, that the next fight for the middleweight champion, Dracus du Plessis, is already done. They know it's Israel.
Yeah, this fight, like I said, going to be a easy fight for DDP, because as you saw with Strickland, Izzy is a tactician if you play his game and play his speed and at his range. But if you just go in there and just punch him in the face and don't let him get any offense off and just keep putting the pressure on him, he can't reset, and he definitely gets flustered. So we'll see.
Adesanya. Because if you didn't know it was Israel Adesanya, you would keep one of these two guys open to have the opportunity to give a guy a chance. I don't know what that means for Sean Strickland, but I really do feel like he might get pushed to the back now that they just booked that fight between those two.
Which is another thing that drives me nuts. My man just fought. He was just a champ, Sean. Sean literally lost by a point, if that. That's how close that fight was. Some people said he won. It could go both ways. Cool, whatever. However, now that they're pushing him in the back and he's starting to reveal those demons, the same demons that Volk talked about, the same ones that George and everybody else is talking about, not being active and not having a goal to get to leaves a lot of them in limbo, which then leaves them to guess like you're basically caging an alpha male until the point where they can't take it anymore and they start doing stupid stuff. Strickland's definitely in that box of, if you don't give me a date and give me something to fight towards, I'm going to lose my way in the weeds and probably end up doing something stupid. So UFC would definitely be mindful to try to keep these guys more active compared to how they've been playing it, one every 5-6 months. It's just, now they're just starting to show how they lengthen their contracts and play these stupid games.
was by a man that weighed 176 pounds over the luxury of my television named Royce Gracie back in 1993. And Royce and his family maintained that the skills and technique of jiu-jitsu, particularly within a gi, could overcome size. I think we got reminded of it here. But look, Demetrius has won everything that I've ever seen him compete in.
Demetrius Johnson is probably the greatest martial arts athlete that there is. And the reason why I say that is not only is he dominant everywhere, but he literally has everything against him. Size. Like, it's not working. Height. It's not working. Strength, when he's fighting these bigger, tougher guys, not working. But his technique and his skill on how to move and place his body as if he's playing chess, to know 3 steps ahead of what they're going to do before they can move, is what makes him probably one of the greatest martial artists in the game.
I tend to be a lot more critical of myself, and I think at the time, immediately after, I wasn't happy with myself. Like immediately after, and I think it's just because I wanted the KO, and I knew I could have done more during the fight. And then when I watched the fight back, and even speaking to my coaches backstage, they were like, "Do you not realize what you just did?" And taking a lot more time. And yeah, definitely impressed. Kevin Holland is a top competitor, tough guy, and I made that definitely a lot easier than most would.
Okay. Michael Venom Page, MVP. I give him credit. I didn't know anything about him until I watched him fight Mike Perry, and I believe Mike Perry is probably the most violent fighter on this planet. Like, Mike Perry is the MMA bare knuckle version of Mike Tyson. Like, you get in there, he just loves to fight. He just wants his face to feel pain so that he can inflict pain. That dude is something else. But the war that him and MVP had, that was bloody, disgusting, nasty, and amazing. So MVP definitely has a chin. He definitely has heart. He could definitely push it to the limit. But I would love to see him go against someone who's a little more well-rounded, someone who's got some good striking but can take him down. I believe if Kevin Holland took him down, did some sweeps, took top control, I think for a fact he would have dominated and won. But I understand the concept of giving the fan the fight.
Because I was so hard on him last week. I know everybody was like, "Oh man, you hard on him," and I was really hard on him. So now, I like to be hard on fighters because I expect more out of them. But when I'm wrong, and now I wanted to find a way to apologize to him. So I wrote him a poem. Chris, I was wrong. I should have known all along, just by listening to your song, that you won't back down. I guess you're back now. That's a fact now. A performance like that, I had the fans coming back round. From the slump that all started with the kick that had your legs snap like a pretzel stick. Mad surgeries and staff, and now you still killing. You shouldn't be walking, much less standing toe to toe with Brazilians. I guess you won't back down. But I'm petty like Tom, right? But you did stick your fingers in them like a dude on prom night. Sorry, Chris Weidman. I was wrong about you. You could still fight a little bit.
I feel smarter from this experience, Dean.
The Bruno Silva Weidman fight was so amateur hour. It literally looked and felt like you were watching one of those karate strikes. There was a lot of random swinging, a lot of eye pokes. I think 4 or 5 throughout the whole fight. It was sloppy, very sloppy. Lorcano, I understand how he's pushing himself and wants to be a voice and is trying to do as much as he can to get the roar behind him. But I'm not a very excited person when I watch him fight because he has his moments, but it's very just like, meh. He's just mediocre. He's not someone that's going to have the belt soon, I can tell you that.
Know Chris pretty well, so for me, I'm not necessarily as focused on the nonsense. I'm just hoping my friend gets a victory and gets his hand raised in that building. So, but Money, what do you think? I mean, with what he was saying about how when you get poked in the eye like that, you can't just go down. You got.
I agree with him, because Bruno, the Brazilian guy, all the time was doing a big drama, man, you have to defend yourself. I think sometimes you have to take your time to recover, like he did. But if the guy keep poking you on the eye, you have to still defending yourself, because the way he did, I didn't like.
There was another fight on the card, Nursultan versus Dumas. Nursultan clips him in the eye, but then Dumas goes down, and then he just gets the ground and pounded. What did you think of that one?
I think was worse than Chris Weidman, to be honest. When he poked in the eye, the guy was defending himself, and the other guy went and knocked him out. So the problem is, I wish people got the referees give more points deduction.
100%. Right? With respect to Weidman, it's if you're doing this the whole time, I agree with you, man. There has to be more stakes, whether it's grabbing the fence. See guys all day grab. How many times is that how the sport works?
I believe they should bring back some of the pride rules. The yellow card, red card, point deductions. Really letting the fighters understand that the referee is in control, and if you're going to play these lackadaisical boxing style type of gimmick, those I'm going to hold you on rest here, I'm going to run around, I'm going to hit you once and then run around, reset, I believe the ref should step in, because after a while it just becomes nerve-wracking. People grabbing the cage so they don't get taken down, people grabbing the cage so they could get up. I think we're going to have to start talking more about involving the refs so that the fighters understand. 0 to 60 or don't go at all.
Where the official just takes the arm up. No, you grab the fence. I hear you.
Alright, I am not a fan of Aljamain. I believe he tries way too hard to be something he is not, to get as much publicity as he can. I think if he was more authentic like his boy Merab, he'd probably have a little more people on his side, and they wouldn't care so much of how. I believe if he was more authentic, people wouldn't gloss and keep bringing up how when he got kneed when he was down, and the drama and acting he put of how his whole life was just I think he lost 1 million fans because people are like, bro, you are so fake. And then watching him do things is just so cringeworthy, where you're like, please stop, just. But yeah.
Let's go. You strong? You strong? Yes. Don't breathe. Let's go. Let's drive. Yes.
I'm not done recording.
What?
I've been watching MMA for years. And I called Holly Holm's knockout of Ronda before Holly was even in the UFC. Why? Because I saw the way that Ronda judos her way to the top. And if anyone framed and pushed her back to be able to keep strikes at a distance, she was not going to win from anyone. And as you saw from Holly Holm and from Amanda Nunes, they lit her up. And the reason why they lit her up is because she cannot box. She cannot fight. She can only judo toss you and do a submission. That is her claim to fame, and that's pretty much all she's good at.
Keep fighting at a level anymore. I'd taken punishment and taking punishment until I couldn't take it anymore. And then when I got to the point that I couldn't take it anymore, then I was like vilified as like, oh, she was all hype and she was just lucky and she, you know, and people making all these judgments about me in a fight where I was literally, my first loss, I was not like, my mouth guard was bad. I literally came into that fight concussed from slipping down some stairs already after all of these years of, concussions. And then I had absolutely terrible weight cut, which, you know, that means you have less fluid in your brain to protect it. And I was out on my feet for the entire fight. I was just trying to make it look like I wasn't hurt, but I wasn't there cognitively. I couldn't.
All right. Listening to this excuse because this chick is delusional, but she also is married to a abusive husband. Alleged, whatever. It is what it is. She sucked in the WWE. She's not good at acting. She's not good at fighting. She's not good at a lot of things. Dana gave her an opportunity and made her a superstar. And she started to believe her own hype to the point where she was eating her own publicity. She thinks she was the hottest, greatest, amazing, most standout thing in the world. No. Her saying that she wasn't even there on her feet and she was just going through the motions, that's a lie. You could tell when she came in, you could tell by the walkout, you can tell after the weigh-ins when she tried to punch Holly, trying to say that she's fake and that she's not the preacher's daughter and I'm going to whoop her tail, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, don't.
I couldn't think as fast. I couldn't judge distance. And just from that one fight, everybody felt like, oh, she's a fraud. And I know that, like, I'm the greatest fighter that has ever lived, but when it got to a point where
greatest fighter to ever have lived. If we go down, she's an Olympic medalist, not a gold medalist. She becomes the UFC champion. Almost lost that first round fight to Liz. And to think that now she's like claiming she's the greatest when she has probably two of the worst knockouts in championship history. Holly Holm kicking her in the face and Amanda Nunes just picking her apart. And then you have her stupid coach with that head movement. Oh my God, it's horrible. And to then listen to her say that she's the greatest is just.
I'd just taken so much neurological damage that I couldn't take it anymore. Suddenly everything that I accomplished meant nothing. And so then after that second fight, and I saw how all these people that was coming back to fight for had suddenly turned against me, all of my appreciation for them turned into resentment. And I did.
So you knew what it was like to be at the top, and when you felt that you were no longer at the top and people were telling you that, you resented them because you were a garbage fighter to start with, and they put you on a platform and a pedestal to make you something, and you screwed it up. That's not their fault. That's your fault. You believed your own hype. You ran with all this. Then you started doing movies and WWE, and it just wasn't for you. Be open and honest.
Just didn't want to have anything to do for them with them anymore. I didn't want to do anything for them anymore because I gave them everything that I had, and they hated me for not being able to give them more.
And then to blame it on a mouth guard on top of that, it's the same mouth guard you've used, the same style, you haven't changed. Like, you're so ritualistic in your fighting to then pull this kind of BS 7 years later. Like, come on, bro. I agree with that guy too. Yeah, that punch right there would almost knocked her out the first time. Years. Look at that, see? No type of maturity, no type of growth. Horrible. Yet again, like I said, overrated. I could take that. Definitely. Fuck that. WWE. It's just ridiculous. Exactly. I think of it this way, like, she lives in denial for so long, and she's a farmer, so, like, think about her just being out in the farm and just contemplating over and over again how she had it all, and now she's picking up cow shit. No offense to her being a farmer, you know. That's the life she wanted to live and choose. Good for her. But at the same time, like, you went from people literally wanting to wipe your ass to now you wiping and picking up cow shit. And then you're going to say that you were the greatest. I got some issues with that, but that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Drop in the comments. Let me know if you think Ronda is the GOAT or if she's a fraud.